In the previous episode, we trekked deep into one of the most inaccessible parts of South Africa and settled into a wilderness camp that was plagued by monkeys. We had been asked by the landowner to come and sort the problem out, and armed with 3 different PCP air guns, we managed to put a good dent in their population. However, the job is far from over. The usual morning grind, literally getting up early in the cold, making some coffee, trying to get ready for the day, all part of the fun. Our plan this morning was to get up nice and early and wait for the sun to hit the tops of the bushes. This is normally when monkeys are most active. However, we awakened to dark, overcast skies, and with not much happening around camp, we quickly move on to plan B. Well, the morning has come and gone, and still no monkeys in camp, so we're going to get on the road and get going. And here's the plan for today. We've just looked at Guide GPS, which is the sort of GPS app we've used, and we've kind of plotted a route through the bush. The best strategy I think today will be to keep moving. The good thing with the clouds being over like this is that when it does get hot later on today, the monkeys are not going to go look for shade. They're probably going to be up in the bushes the whole day. So we're going to get on the road, try to cover as much ground as possible. And we've just got permission from the neighboring farm that we shot at last time that we can go into their property and look for monkeys too. So that's what we're going to do. We're taking the good old Impact M4 today. Reason being is that with the 800mm barrel and these heavy slugs, it's capable of taking some really long shots. And as much as we enjoyed using the Leopard yesterday for the close-up personal stuff, we want a gun that's versatile, that we can shoot stuff at close range but also stretch the legs if we have to. Because if we waste time switching guns all the time, that's when you lose opportunities. We've learned our lessons from yesterday. Let's get on the road and let's see if we can get some monkeys done. Leaving camp proves to be the right decision, as we run into a troop of monkeys within minutes and have one in the dirt almost immediately. And the beauty of the air gun is that the rest of the troop don't even hear the shot. I just have to wait for them to give me a clear opportunity. The monkeys realize that something isn't quite right, and they make a dash across the road into more thick bush. So I grab a tripod and decide to go in after them, finding an elevated spot on a dam wall from which I can wait for them to reappear and give me a chance. So I'm up here on a sort of a hill overlooking a dam where they pump water from to irrigate the lands, and in front of me down there are just a whole series of thick bushes where the main river runs through here. And the monkeys really like this sort of dense green area. There's obviously lots of food for them here and lots of shelter, lots of water, all the stuff they need. But here I am lined up. That monkey appeared down there, 108 meters, which is as simple as dialing 2.8 mils, and the rest is history. I was aiming right on the neck here, knowing that if the wind pushed the slug left or right, I'd still get a good clean head or vital shot. It slams him pretty much exactly where I aimed, and the hollow point does its job. Well, first monkey of the day. Big pool of blood around his head, which is a really good sign. Blood coming out of his nose and his ears, which means that slug's really opened up and done damage to his brain. And there you go, 40 grain javelin strikes again. It was probably a 50 meter, 60, 70 meter shot, something like that. I don't know, I just held on his head and pulled the trigger, and good to get one down. But yeah, there are more down here. So let's see what we can do. We've had really bad luck retrieving monkeys. They've been in very deep parts of the bush where they're impossible to get, but looks like we'll be able to get this one, because there's a convenient little monkey path right here. And here he is. It actually looks like I got him in the shoulder. So it may have been slightly further than I thought. But there you go, in this side of the shoulder, out the other side of the shoulder, and once again, hollow point doing its job. He dropped like a rock, and I heard a good thump. So Yep, headshot or hard shot, doesn't matter. FX Impact M4 is doing the business. A couple kilometers downriver, there's a large basin where the river spreads out and turns into a big swamp with thick green bush, small dams and fields of reeds carpeting the valley floor. This is the type of area where hundreds of monkeys could exist without you ever seeing them, and the challenge is that it's so thick that there's no way to really hunt them aside from finding a high point and taking long shots. We're on our way to a lookout point from where we can blast for monkeys and hopefully get a chance to turn a few inside out with a 22-250 from a distance. Let's see what we can do. No monkeys or baboons out there right now. The plan was to come up here to this elevated point and just glass over this valley, because we do have the 22-250, and sometimes the best strategy is to kind of get yourself further away to a point where you can see more bushes, because we really don't know where these troops of monkeys are, and then just wait until, you know, the sun is kind of opening up in patches between the clouds and moving, sunny patches moving across the valley, and those monkeys will want to get warm. It's pretty chilly this morning, and yeah, hopefully as the sun moves over we can see some monkeys starting to pop up, but so far nothing. We've been glassing with these Helix HDs and nothing yet. I think we should move on. This road happens to follow the contour of the hill to our right, just at the point where the thick green bush in the valley becomes a grassy hillside. It's just high enough above the bush to allow us to see over the valley, and when we find a dam not far from the road itself, we decide to stop and inspect the surrounding trees a little closer. And sure enough, we're in business. Coming down. Okay. Two monkeys, the 22-250. I'm really glad we waited. These shots here at like 130 meters are guaranteed hits. Absolutely blitzed one right on top of a tree, and then another one climbed down a little bit. As I pulled the trigger, he just moved his head, and then a third one appeared and I absolutely just hammered him right there. So yeah, two monkeys down. We're not going to be able to get those. They're on the other side of a dam, big beautiful dam here. 22-250 has done the business. It's nice to be able to take it out and actually use it. This is airgun territory here with a thick bush. It's mostly very close shots. In fact, from 130 I probably could have used the airgun, but yeah, 22-250 is perfect for this sort of thing. Time to swap guns again. 22-250 is going to get put away, and Impact M4 is coming out. And we're using the same scope cam on both of these. Normally, switching scope cams between guns can be really challenging because of the whole eyepiece focus thing, but I've actually marked my eyepieces with little scratches at the position where they all focus up perfectly with my scope cam, so I can kind of just slide the scope cam on and off. And the nice thing with the trigger cam, I mean not the trigger cam, the side shot, is I can put these adapters on, and it's very, very easy to get them back where they were. The scenery suddenly changes dramatically as we move away from the wet valley floor and towards one of the kloofs that cuts deep into the Koga Mountains. Here the terrain changes to what more closely resembles a rocky Karoo landscape, and with the change we start to see different species like rock hyrax. We'll come back later to look for this guy, but for now we're hungry and we know just the spot for brunch. So for lunch we're stopping actually in the exact same camp spot we stayed last time we came hunting here. You can see it's an absolutely stunning kloof with mountains all around us, which is awesome. And I see the remnants of our fire are still here. So yeah, it really takes us back, and you know, to a time that was really special. Me and Nicole had not been married that long when we came here for the first time, and it was one of the first trips we did with this vehicle where we were actually camping and hunting on the same trip. And yeah, we haven't looked back. We've kept on going, and it's been an amazing journey. What's for lunch, love?
We're going to be doing a delayed breakfast style lunch. So we're going to be having some eggs, some bacon, maybe in a wrap, so maybe like a breakfast wrap. But we're going to wing it at this point. But that's the plan so far.
Well, the only problem with this is that there's only one of them. It's really good. Exactly what I needed at 11:30 a.m. Having spotted some dassies on the way into the valley, we decide to stop on the way out and see if we can find a couple to shoot. A dassie hunt, in my opinion, is some of the most fun you can have with an air rifle. This valley is absolutely crawling with dassies, so we're going to take a walk just down this kloof here, stop at some of the different rock structures and see if we can get one or two with the impact. Yeah, nice conditions now, nice and cool, not too windy, so let's see if we can be successful. These stone screes, like the one in front of me here, are often really good places to find dassies because they're often surrounded by bushes like speckboom and other things that the dassies like to eat, but they provide natural places to just hide away if a bird of prey happens to be swooping down on them or something like that. So yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest predators for dassies are birds of prey and leopards. And if they're in a big open stone scree like this, they can see stuff coming, and there's lots of just places for them to get away. So it's always worth just taking a look, but they blend in very well with the rocks, so you have to look very hard sometimes and just look for those little faces. With no dassie showing up, we decide to move on, and we leave the kloof behind for yet another change of scenery. As we leave the kloof in our dust and move back into the main valley, we start to see more game and more signs of commercial farming. Commercial farming means the production of food, and food is something that attracts monkeys and baboons. It's like a buffet, right next to the bushes they call home, and the edges of these fields are normally good places to find them. See it there? Perfect shot. Wow. So we pulled in here, we heard monkeys, we couldn't see them. And then we noticed this path through the bush. And I decided, you know what, let's turn the magnification down. There's another monkey there. Follow me. This monkey had obviously just witnessed what had previously unfolded and wasn't going to hang around. I probably would have taken a shot if it wasn't for all the twigs in the way, but I decided not to risk it. That was so cool, man. Yeah, just walk and stalk, following a path through the bush. And then just, yeah, as I saw a monkey, just shoulder the rifle, focus it, 10 times zoom on the Theos, and yeah, nailed it right in the head. So we've had some long shots today, we've had some really close shots. This gun can do everything. With the sun starting to dip low on the horizon, the clouds suddenly start to clear, and with the expectation that the monkeys would probably all be climbing up to the tops of the bushes to warm up, we move quickly towards a lookout spot on the hill and get the 22-250 out, hoping to spot some in the valley below. And sure enough, I'm able to get lined up on one at 242 meters straight away. 242, half an off. Perfect. Absolutely blitzed that monkey. 242 meters. And there may very well be more in this valley. It is now monkey o'clock. We wanted to head up the valley and start setting up camp because we've got some really cool meal plans for tonight. But yeah, the light has just broken through the clouds and these monkeys are just catching the sunlight and they all just want to be up in the trees to catch the light. So I just smoked two of them here with a 22-250 from 250 meters. Unfortunately, second one I forgot to hit record because that second shot, telling you through the scope, it was just so perfect. So I'm quite bummed about that, but yeah, hopefully we can get one or two more. This lighting is just, it's not good for the scope cam necessarily because there's a lot of glare through the scope. We're basically looking directly into the sun, but flip, that was some really cool footage. Let's keep looking. I don't know. It's so far, I couldn't really see what was happening there. This one was a long way off at 390 meters, and at first I thought I'd missed him, with the glare of the sun making it really hard to see, but the slow-mo replay reveals a perfect headshot. And on that high note, with the shadow of the mountain starting to swallow up the valley, we decided to call it a day, pick up our brass, and head towards our camp for the night. This, my friends, is what we come out here for. With some special meal plans on our agenda tonight, we waste no time getting camp set up, getting all our ingredients organized, and an area prepared for a nice warm fire. Tonight we're doing something a little more interesting than your average braai. Nicole and I have been trying to get into cooking more with cast iron stuff over the last while, especially since there's so much of a history in South Africa with cooking in cast iron pots over a fire. A friend of ours suggested we get a book called Pots, Pans and Potjies, and Nicole ended up getting this for me for my birthday, which is super cool. It's full of amazing recipes, and as if sent by heaven, a company called Brave Hardy, who imports Petromax products, decided to send us a bunch of goodies to cook on, including a really nice cast iron pot. Now, we've done lots of stuff before with potjies, but this is a little bit different. Tonight we're going to be cooking chicken. We've got some chicken that's been marinating in a bag with chutney, mayo, soy sauce and some other ingredients. We've got some vegetables that we're going to add to it and roast inside. Also a bunch of herbs and spices. Let's not talk any further. Let's start a fire and let's start cooking. So this is the Petromax Atago. It's basically like a contained fire unit. So you build a fire inside here and it contains all the ashes and everything. But what we're going to be using this for, we'll make a fire, we'll grill the chicken pieces on the braai, and then we'll put the pot on top afterwards. So with this thing you can also control the airflow in, so you can use this lever to control how much oxygen is being pulled in, so you can control the heat that way. And that's obviously important when you're cooking with a pot. You need to be able to control the heat. But yeah, let's get our fire going and let's start cooking.
The way we cooked this meal is very simple. We made a bed of vegetables and added some cider and water in which they could boil, and then char grilled our chicken in the flames just to caramelize the marinade and sear the outside of the chicken pieces before placing them back on top of the veggies, and then placing the whole pot on the fire to slow cook. As the chicken cooks, the juices flow down into the veggies, adding flavor, and with coals heaped on top of the pot, we get a nice even roast with the chicken cooking from all sides.
Ooh, there you go. All done, looking fantastic. Nicole's just finished with the rice, so we're going to dish up soon. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. We'll see you in the next one.
Coming up in the next episode, we'll be turning our focus towards the massive cliffs and mountains, firstly with the air guns, where the new FX Leopard will get a chance to show what it's made of in pursuit of dussies at long range. We'll also be joining the farmer on a baboon hunting frenzy, where I'll be dropping more baboons than I have in a very long time. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it.